You work hard, you plan, save, sacrifice, and yet money still disappears without warning. Every time you start to build something solid, life seems to pull it right back down. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, and most of all, it's confusing because you're doing everything you're supposed to do. But let me ask you something most people never consider. What if the reason things keep falling apart isn't out there in the world, but right here on your walls? In Feng Shui, a painting isn't just decoration, it's a silent influence. It shapes how energy moves, how fortune responds, and how opportunities show up or vanish before they ever arrive. When you hang the wrong image in the wrong location, you're not just filling space. You might be signaling wealth to walk away. And the worst part, you won't even know it's happening. You'll just feel the slow leak, financial stress that doesn't make sense, good things that never quite stick, relationships that feel tense without reason. But there's another side to this, because just as one misplaced painting can block your path, the right one placed with awareness can open a door, a real one. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly which paintings invite prosperity to return, quietly, steadily, and without struggle. I'll guide you through how to choose them, where to place them, and what to avoid if you don't want luck slipping through the cracks. So stay with me, because in Feng Shui, even a small shift in your space can unlock the kind of change you've been chasing for years. Number 1, rising sun and fruit-bearing trees. If you feel like your career keeps circling back to the starting line, even after all the effort you've poured in, if you've rebuilt, relaunched, and still find yourself watching others move ahead while you stay stuck, then I want you to pause and consider this. Could your home be reflecting a sunset when what you really need is a sunrise? In Feng Shui, the rising sun isn't just a pretty image. It's a call to forward motion. It symbolizes beginnings that build, not just startovers that repeat. When the sun rises in your home, visually, energetically, symbolically, it invites clarity, motivation, and progress. But when it's absent, or worse, when sunset imagery dominates your space, your momentum quietly dissolves. You may not even notice it at first. You'll just feel unmotivated, tired. Like no matter how hard you try, things stay the same. This is why the placement of a rising sun painting, especially in the East, the direction of growth and potential, or the Southeast, associated with wealth, is so vital. It's not about beauty, it's about orientation. You're using imagery to open a path that life has been closing on you. But the real power comes when you don't stop at the sun. When you combine the rising sun with fruit-bearing trees, orange, peach, pomegranate, grape, you take that spark of possibility and connect it directly to harvest. In Feng Shui, these fruits don't just represent abundance in theory, they symbolize tangible results. Money in hand, contract signed, work completed. They say your labor is producing fruit. And if you've been feeling like your effort never leads anywhere, if you've been working harder but not getting richer, then this message is exactly what your home has been missing. You don't need reminders of effort. You need reminders of reward. A painting that shows trees full of ripe fruit under a fresh morning sun doesn't just look nice. It's a clear statement. Growth is happening here. Things are ripening. Life is building. This kind of symbolism doesn't belong in forgotten corners or dim stairwells. It belongs in the places where decisions are made and energy begins. Your living room, your home office, your entry wall. The first thing you see when you start your day. That's how you align your space with movement, and placement matters. Just like you wouldn't plant a real tree in a dark closet, you shouldn't hang this kind of image where it can't breathe. If you hide it behind clutter or close to a bathroom drain, you're suppressing its effect. Instead, give it visibility. Elevate it. Let it be a focal point, not just for the room, but for your mindset. Surround it with elements that support its story. A small live plant beneath it, a light source that mimics sunrise, a bowl of fresh fruit to echo the visual. These aren't just decorations, they're confirmations. And in Feng Shui, confirmation is everything. It means your space is not contradicting your intentions. It's backing them up. If you've ever said to yourself, I know I'm meant for more, but I don't know why I keep getting blocked, this is your moment. Check your wall. Is it showing a new beginning or the end of something that never truly started? Is it showing potential or the quiet exit of a dream you are still chasing? These may sound like small things, but they aren't. Because in Feng Shui, small things are how big shifts begin. And when you wake up every morning to the sight of a sun that's rising and trees that are bearing fruit, you're not just changing your decor. You're reminding yourself again and again that life is still in motion. And this time you're moving with it. Number 2, Peony Painting. If your home feels organized but uninspiring, clean but emotionally empty, then you might not be missing furniture or function. You might be missing presence. There's a quiet difference between a house that simply works and a space that makes you feel elevated. And in Feng Shui, one of the most powerful ways to introduce that sense of quiet nobility is through the image of the peony. The peony has been revered for centuries, not just for its beauty, but for what it represents: grace, prestige, and an atmosphere of earned wealth. It's not loud, it doesn't demand attention, but it changes the way a room feels the moment you enter. If you've ever walked into your own home and felt like something was missing, but you couldn't quite name what, it might be the absence of elegance, not showiness, not extravagance, just a kind of still richness that tells you this is a space where you belong, where you're allowed to feel important. In Feng Shui, the presence of a peony painting isn't about decoration. It's a symbolic invitation. It says this space isn't just about surviving or getting by. It's about rising, resting in your worth, and allowing success to feel comfortable. The number of peonies in your painting matters more than the people realize. A single peony is for those who walk alone, entrepreneurs, self-driven builders, visionaries who are creating something entirely their own. It's a bold statement. I am enough and I'm moving with purpose. A pair of peonies reflects softness and intimacy, ideal for those building a relationship, growing something together, or simply inviting more warmth into the home. And 9 peonies? That's not just a choice, it's a declaration. 9 is the number of legacy, of generational vision. It's for those who aren't just thinking about the next paycheck, but the next chapter, who understand that wealth isn't about speed, but longevity. If any part of you has ever felt like you're not quite there yet, like success is something meant for others, for those born into it, or dressed for it, or lucky enough to have it handed to them, then this is your visual remedy. This is how you shift that belief. Placement matters deeply. Hang your peony painting in the Northeast if your focus is career growth. This activates clarity and upward movement. The Southwest supports relationships and emotional abundance. If you place it in the bedroom, especially with 2 peonies, it strengthens romantic connection and dissolves quiet tension. But just as important as where you hang it is where you don't. Never place a peony painting near a bathroom or across from sharp, draining spaces. You wouldn't serve a royal dinner beside a trash bin. Don't ask elegance to coexist with energetic waste. And don't hide it in corners. Elevate it, frame it well, and give it breathing room. Let it be seen, not because it's meant to show off, but because you're ready to recognize your own readiness to receive more. If your home is filled with signs of struggle, if every wall reminds you of what's practical, but nothing reflects what's possible, this is your moment to change that. Not with a loud overhaul, not with a total redesign, just with one symbol, one flower. One quiet but powerful shift that says, wealth is not foreign here. In this home, success isn't borrowed, it's embodied. Because sometimes what's missing in your home isn't space or color or convenience. Sometimes what's missing is the confirmation that you are, and have always been, worthy of more. Number 3, birds, especially rooster. If your home has been feeling unsettled, like something's off but you can't quite explain what it is, then it may not be what's happening inside your walls, but what's being allowed to echo through them. Feng Shui teaches us that energy is not just felt, it's also spoken, not with words but with symbols. And in this case, the symbol is the bird. Not all birds speak the same language, energetically. Some whisper of peace, some sing of joy. But there's one that stands guard when the rest falls silent, the rooster. If your life has been surrounded by noise, rumors, tension, misunderstandings, bad advice, or even unspoken pressure, then the rooster is your Feng Shui protector. It doesn't bring wealth directly, but it keeps the gates clear so wealth can reach you. That's a distinction most people miss. We often focus on attraction, but forget about protection. But what good is attracting success if the noise around you distorts your decisions or drains your energy before you ever reach the finish line? The rooster in Feng Shui is like a shield against slander, betrayal, miscommunication, and emotional chaos. If your life or work involves public exposure, leadership, or people depending on you, you need this symbolic ally in your space. When placed correctly, a rooster painting or figurine does 3 key things. First, it clears toxic dialogue, energetic or real, from the home. Gossip doesn't find a place to land. Whispered judgment falls flat. Second, it establishes boundaries, which in modern life are harder to maintain than ever. The rooster reminds everyone, visibly or subconsciously, that this space demands respect. Third, it enhances mental clarity, cutting through the emotional fog that comes when others' opinions begin to seep into your focus. That clarity is essential for anyone under pressure, from business owners and public speakers to parents managing a home full of dynamics. But like everything in Feng Shui, placement determines impact. The rooster must always face inward, into the home, into the room, not outward toward a door or window. Facing outwards, it drives away what it's meant to protect. And this is not a symbol for the bedroom. Its energy is active, alert, and at times intense. It belongs in the entryway, the living room, or your home office. Spaces that need strength, not rest. Some choose to place it near the front door or by a work desk, but the key is always the direction it faces. Inward means guarding your world. Outward risks chasing what matters away. If you've been dealing with ongoing workplace drama, strange emotional friction at home, or simply feel like you can't concentrate because of other people's noise, it may be time to ask, who's speaking for your space when you're not listening? What voice does your environment carry when you're too tired to defend it? The rooster is bold, but it's not aggressive. It's aware. And that awareness is what transforms a vulnerable home into a grounded one. If the peony invites in wealth with softness, the rooster makes sure nothing steals it through the back door. That's why the two often appear together in powerful homes. They reflect the balance between openness and protection. And if your life lately has felt like it's been absorbing too many outside influences, it might be time to set a new tone, not with arguments, but with imagery, not with defense, but with design. Because in Feng Shui, it's not just about who you let in, it's also about what you no longer allow to stay. Number 4, gently flowing stream. When you think about your finances, not just the numbers, but the feeling, does it feel steady? Do you sense stability? Or does your money seem to slip through the cracks, as if the harder you try to hold on to it, the more it disappears. If you've been experiencing income that's unpredictable, savings that don't grow, or unexpected expenses that drain your efforts, it's time to stop looking at your budget and start looking at your walls. In Feng Shui, water equals wealth, but it's not just the presence of water that matters. It's the direction and movement that make all the difference. Water that flows calmly and inward symbolizes prosperity that comes and stays. Water that rushes outward, or worse, crashes down like a waterfall, represents money leaving before it has a chance to root. That's why paintings of a gently flowing stream heading inward toward the home are some of the most powerful yet misunderstood tools in Feng Shui. It's subtle, but it's incredibly effective. If your financial path has been feeling chaotic or blocked, a painting like this doesn't just create beauty, it helps reset the visual language your environment is speaking. Imagine walking into your home and seeing a stream that winds gently through a green landscape, heading inward. This tells your subconscious, money can flow here, without chaos, without fear. And in a world where money often feels like a constant battle, creating an environment that signals peace around finances can have a profound effect, not just on your space, but on your behavior. You begin to make calmer decisions. You hold your focus longer. You stop leaking energy in reaction to constant pressure. This is not magic, it's design that speaks to biology. But just as the right painting can welcome financial steadiness, the wrong one can silently work against you. If the stream in your image flows outward toward a door or window, you're visually encouraging wealth to leave. If you hang a waterfall with aggressive downward motion, especially in a kitchen or bedroom, you may unknowingly increase anxiety, restlessness, and even financial instability. Water that falls too fast is visually stimulating. It creates tension, not relaxation. That's why we say, be careful with waterfalls. They may look majestic, but they don't belong in places meant for peace or planning. The best stream paintings for wealth include gentle curves, soft water movement, and elements that anchor the scene, such as mountains in the background for stability, trees to represent growth, and boats to symbolize progress and arrival. Together, these elements create a story, one where success is moving towards you, supported by roots, protected by structure, and guided by direction. Placement, again, is key. Ideal areas include your living room, especially the far left corner from the entry, which activates the wealth sector, or your office, where decisions and ideas are born. Avoid bathrooms, chaotic hallways, or spots directly facing the main door. Think of the stream as a financial guest. You don't want it walking in and leaving right away. You want it to settle, to stay. If you've been doing everything right, working hard, budgeting carefully, even manifesting positive intentions, but nothing seems to change, it's time to ask a different question. What kind of financial message is your home sending back to you? Is it saying you're safe, resources are flowing in? Or is it saying everything keeps slipping away? In Feng Shui, we don't just decorate, we choreograph. And the direction of a stream on your wall can be the difference between living in fear of running out or finally learning what it feels like to flow forward without panic. If you've never felt that before, maybe this isn't just a painting. Maybe it's a permission slip to stop fighting and start allowing, to build something that doesn't just grow but lasts, to choose ease, not because life is easy, but because your home makes the hard parts lighter. Number 5, cranes and pine trees. You say you want peace, but are you truly built for it? Most people don't realize that peace isn't just the absence of noise or problems. It's the presence of structure, endurance, and quiet discipline. And that's where the timeless pairing of the crane and the pine tree in Feng Shui speaks so directly to modern life. At first glance, this image seems gentle, quiet, maybe even passive. A graceful crane standing tall beside a strong pine tree. But look closer and you'll find something profound. The crane is more than just elegant. It is a symbol of spiritual clarity, lightness, and long life. In many traditions, it is said to soar above the noise of the world. It doesn't rush, it doesn't flinch, it simply moves with precision and poise. Now pair that with the pine, tough, rooted, unshaken by storm or snow. It doesn't grow fast, but it survives everything. Together they represent a kind of wealth that doesn't fluctuate with the market. It's the wealth of inner fortitude, of clarity, and calm in the midst of chaos. And in Feng Shui, this is the kind of wealth most people forget to cultivate. We focus so much on attracting money, luck, or opportunity, but how often do we ask ourselves if we're strong enough to hold it once it arrives? Are we stable enough to handle the responsibility that comes with growth? Are we clear enough to make good decisions when pressure builds? The crane and the pine don't bring you instant riches. What they bring is something deeper, emotional durability. If you've been feeling worn out lately, like you're constantly handling too much, carrying others, pushing through when your body says stop, this is your painting. It's not for ambition, it's for restoration. If you're a caretaker, a business owner, a parent holding an entire household together, or simply someone who's been emotionally exhausted for far too long, this symbol is your anchor. Its job isn't to make things exciting. It's to keep you upright when everything else is shaking. And in a world obsessed with speed, having that kind of grounded presence is a quiet superpower. In Feng Shui, the ideal placement for this kind of artwork is somewhere you go to gather your thoughts or carry the weight of responsibility. Your living room, your workspace, even a reading or meditation corner. If you place it in the north, you activate personal health and healing. If you place it in the southeast, you support long-term stability and wealth. Not the kind that comes fast and disappears, but the kind that stays because it's supported by wisdom. But placement is only half the work. You also need to choose a painting that captures the essence of quiet resilience, not something loud or heavily stylized. The crane should be poised, not flapping wildly. The pine should be firm, reaching upward, not bending unnaturally. Look for stillness in the image. It's the stillness that does the healing. And avoid placing it in loud, chaotic areas, near bathrooms, near cluttered kitchens, or opposite mirrors. This kind of painting isn't meant to reflect energy, it's meant to absorb stress and give back silence. If you've ever said to yourself, I just want things to stop moving for a second, then this isn't just art, it's medicine. It's your visual reminder that rest is not weakness and stillness is not laziness. You've been strong for long enough. Now it's time to be strong and steady. The kind of person who doesn't just chase fortune, but attracts it quietly. Because your energy no longer leaks. Your foundation no longer shakes. Your thoughts no longer scatter at the first sign of pressure. This is the painting for people who are tired of starting over. The ones who want a life that doesn't just grow, but lasts. Number 6, Galloping Horses, Painting or 9 Horses of Success. If you've been feeling stuck, truly stuck, like no matter how hard you push, life won't let you move forward, then maybe it's time to stop blaming circumstances and start asking a different kind of question. Is your space holding you back? In Feng Shui, every object in your environment sends a message. And if your home is sending the wrong one, even your strongest efforts can stall. One of the clearest signs of this energetic blockage is a repeated pattern. Plans that fall apart at the last minute, promotions that never come, deals that always seem one step out of reach. If that feels familiar, you are not alone. but you might be missing something simple: direction. And that brings us to the power of the 9 Galloping Horses painting. This isn't just art, it's a symbol of momentum, ambition, and successful return. In Feng Shui, horses represent drive, courage, and upward mobility. When they gallop, they don't hesitate. They cut through obstacles. They advance with certainty. And when there are 9 of them, an auspicious number representing completeness and continuation, you're looking at a visual affirmation of unstoppable progress. But here's the problem. Most people hang this painting the wrong way. The key isn't just the horses, it's which way they're running. If they're charging outward toward a door, a hallway, or facing a window, you're sending all that powerful forward energy right out of your space. You're literally watching your own momentum leave the room. That's why this painting must always face inward, toward the core of the home or your desk. Because when you want things to move in your life, the image in front of you should be moving toward you, not away from you. If you're starting a new venture, launching a side business, or finally making a push for that career change, this painting isn't optional. It's strategic. It tells your environment, I'm ready to move. And more importantly, it helps remove the silent resistance that's been keeping you in place. The best place to hang it: your home office, directly behind or across from your desk, as if the horses are bringing success directly to your worry space. For entrepreneurs, a powerful position is facing your primary workspace, with the horses coming in from the left, the traditional dragon side, which symbolizes incoming success and support. But don't overdo it. This painting isn't for every room. Avoid placing it in bedrooms or resting areas. The energy is too active, too driven. It can disrupt sleep, make you restless, or create mental agitation. This isn't about relaxation. It's about forward motion. And if you've been procrastinating, second-guessing, or quietly afraid of taking the next step, this painting can help you break through. Not because it forces you, but because it realigns your environment with what you already want. You stop fighting the space around you and start moving with it. Think of this symbol like wind in your sails. You still have to steer, but the journey becomes smoother, faster, clearer. If you've ever felt like you're made for more, but somehow more keeps slipping away, this is your moment to change the visual narrative. Let your space reflect momentum. Let it echo movement. Let it remind you every time you walk past that the only thing between you and success might just be the direction you're facing. Number 7, smooth sailing boat. If you've ever felt like you're doing all the right things, working hard, staying disciplined, setting goals, but somehow the success you seek keeps drifting just out of reach, you might be missing one quiet but powerful signal in your space: the boat. In Feng Shui, a boat isn't just a vessel, it's a metaphor for movement, trade, arrival, and prosperity returning. But not all boats are created equal, and more importantly, not all boats are sailing in the right direction. If the boat in your painting is heading out a door toward a window or away from your workspace, it's sending one very clear message: your fortune is sailing away. This isn't superstition, it's symbolic logic. Your subconscious reads visual messages long before your mind processes them. So if every day you walk past a boat sailing outward, your environment is reinforcing the feeling of loss, delay, or things getting away from you. But here's the good news. Just by turning that image inward, just by pointing the boat toward the heart of your home or office, you begin to redirect that symbolic energy. Now your space says, success is arriving, deals are closing, results are returning. And there's something especially powerful about a boat with its sails full and its hull loaded. Choose a painting where the ship looks strong, steady, and abundant. One where you can see gold, crates, goods, or wind filling the sails. Why? Because that's the visual language of closure, of completed journeys, of reward. If you're a business owner, a freelancer, or someone launching a new path, this painting doesn't just offer symbolic support, it anchors the idea that your hard work is finding a destination, that you're not just moving, you're returning. And that's the nuance here. While the galloping horses from before drive us forward, the sailing boat speaks to what comes back to us. Effort returning as reward, energy returning as stability. That's why these two symbols, placed correctly, create a loop of progress. One pushes forward, the other pulls success home. The best place to hang this painting is in your living room, dining area, or home office, with the bow of the boat always facing into the room. Never let it point out toward the door. It's like waving goodbye to opportunity before it even gets inside. If the boat is headed toward your desk or sitting area, it builds the image that success is approaching, and docking right where you need it. Think of this painting as a visual contract, a statement to your environment that your journey isn't about drifting or delay. It's about return, restoration, and reward. And if you've been feeling like you've been giving more than you receive, if money seems to leave faster than it comes, this may be the correction your space quietly needs. Remember, in Feng Shui, it's not just about what's present, but what direction it's flowing. So ask yourself, is your success sailing in or silently floating away? With just one adjustment, the current can change. Let your home invite the arrival, not the departure, of what you've been working so hard to manifest. Number 8, Lotus Flowers and Fu. Your home may be tidy, but is your heart still stuck in the mud? It's easy to wipe down the counters, vacuum the floors, and straighten the shelves. But the emotional clutter, the stories that haven't been resolved, the losses you've learned to carry, the disappointments you've swept under the rug, they linger in ways we rarely notice until they start to affect how we sleep, how we trust, how we open up to life again. And that's where the lotus comes in. Not just as a flower, but as a symbol of quiet, powerful healing. In Feng Shui, the lotus is a sacred message. Even from the murkiest, messiest, most painful places, beauty can still rise. Purity is not about never being touched by life's hardships. It's about blooming anyway. That's why a painting of lotus flowers holds such potent energy. It doesn't scream success or hustle or ambition. It whispers something more enduring: grace, recovery, emotional strength. If you've ever walked into a room in your home and felt a heaviness you couldn't explain, if there's a space that holds the memory of a breakup, a betrayal, a business failure, or even just years of quiet stress, the lotus painting is for that space. It doesn't erase your story, it elevates it. It tells you, yes, this happened, but you are not what happened. You are what you become through it. That's why bedrooms and personal corners are ideal locations. These are the places we let our guard down, the places we're most honest with ourselves, the places that deserve the softest kind of support. The lotus painting helps create an environment where your nervous system can finally exhale, where your heart can loosen its grip on the past, where your sleep becomes more than just rest, it becomes restoration. But here's the key: the lotus doesn't like noise. Not visual noise, not emotional noise, not energetic clutter. It thrives in simplicity. That's why the best setup for this kind of painting involves clean lines, earthy tones, and a commitment to minimalism. Think soft beige walls, natural wooden accents, and warm, indirect light. A single cushion, a quiet corner, a space that says, I'm listening. Don't overwhelm this painting with decorations or distractions. Let it be the focal point, not just visually, but emotionally. When the lotus is honored, it works silently, consistently, deeply. You'll start to notice the difference, not in dramatic ways, but in the way you begin to feel clearer without effort, in the way tears come more easily, but without pain, in the way old memories stop clinging. And if you've been living in a cycle of emotional repetition, finding the same kind of relationships, reacting to the same kind of setbacks, or struggling with self-worth no matter how much you achieve, this painting might just be the missing key. Because what the lotus really teaches us in Feng Shui is that healing isn't about forgetting. It's about transforming. It's about growing through, not avoiding. It's about finding stillness, not just silence. And when placed with care, the lotus becomes an energetic ally in that process. You may find that conversations change in the room it's placed in, that arguments soften, that your inner dialogue becomes less cruel. That's the subtle magic of this symbol. It changes the tone of your space so that you too can change your tone with yourself. So ask yourself, is there a corner of your home and your heart that's been asking for gentleness but hasn't received it? Is there a part of your story that needs not judgment, not fixing, but witnessing? If so, this is your cue to bring the lotus in. And once you do, resist the urge to expect immediate results. This isn't a symbol of speed. It's a symbol of slow emergence, of layers opening, one petal at a time, of breath returning, of peace settling, of clarity rising through what once felt too cloudy to name. And through that process, you'll discover what real wealth is, not just money in the bank, but calm in your spirit. Because from the Feng Shui lens, prosperity is only as valuable as your ability to feel whole while receiving it. And that begins not with a raise, not with a promotion, but with the courage to sit beside your own pain and bloom anyway. Number 9, Dragon and Phoenix. Are your ambitions balanced by harmony, or are they overwhelming everything else? In every home, there is a quiet negotiation happening beneath the surface, between doing and being, between leading and listening, between ambition and connection. And in Feng Shui, there is no pair more powerful or more revealing than the dragon and the phoenix. These two symbols aren't just decorative, they are energetic mirrors, and how they're placed in your home can either fuel unity or fracture it. The dragon stands for power, not just external power, like influence or achievement, but inner dominance, decision-making, vision, ambition. It's the part of you that charges forward, takes risks, demands results. But unchecked, the dragon can scorch the very soil it's trying to grow. It can become overbearing, controlling, restless, and that's where the phoenix arrives. Not to oppose, but to balance. The phoenix is grace, receptivity, emotional intelligence. It is the energy that allows things to unfold with trust. It knows that real power doesn't always push. It often listens. So when you place these two in your home, not just as symbols, but as energetic instructions, you are setting a tone, one of mutual respect, co-creation, and aligned growth. That's why this painting is incredibly potent for couples, business partners, families with shared dreams, or anyone trying to harmonize masculine and feminine dynamics, not in terms of gender, but of energetic roles. Because let's be honest, in most modern homes, one energy often dominates. Maybe someone's dreams take up all the oxygen in the room. Maybe someone always has to give in. Maybe the house is full of movement, but nobody feels emotionally met. Or maybe there's peace, but no momentum. In either case, this painting becomes a course correction, not with force, but with symbolism. The dragon brings the fire, the phoenix brings the wind. Together they soar, not in separate directions, but side by side. But that only happens if you're intentional. This painting should never be treated as just decor. It's not there to look nice, it's there to guide. That's why placement matters deeply. The ideal location? A central wall in the living room where the whole household gathers, a space of shared energy, where decisions are made, where dynamics unfold, where life is co-authored. If it's hung in a tucked-away spot, its energy gets diluted. If it's too high or too low, it loses balance. You want it eye level, facing into the room, grounded and seen. And the energy of the dragon and phoenix must be facing each other or rising together, never turning away. Why? Because even in art, direction sets the tone. Facing away implies detachment, separation, missed connection. Facing each other, that says we rise together. We grow through tension, not away from it. And while we're talking placement, there's one thing you absolutely must avoid: putting this painting near conflict zones. That means not near kitchen entrances, where heat and chaos gather, not near bathrooms, where draining and flushing energy can destabilize symbolic harmony. Why? Because the dragon and phoenix are about sacred balance, and those areas introduce imbalance, pressure, or waste. You don't want the negotiation between ambition and intimacy happening next to boiling pots or flushing toilets. That's like trying to hold a meaningful conversation in the middle of an airport terminal. Too much noise and too much energy bleeding out. Keep the symbolism protected, give it room to resonate, and observe what begins to shift. You might notice that discussions in your home become more constructive, that someone who felt unheard now speaks up, that someone who always had to lead now begins to trust, that emotional warmth returns without effort, and motivation begins to flow, not through force, but through alignment. Because here's what Feng Shui really asks: is your environment supporting the version of you that works and the version that feels? Oh, and is your home wired for shared success or silent competition? The dragon and phoenix ask you to rise, but together. They don't promise ease, they promise evolution. So if you live with a partner or a team, or even just the memory of relationships that felt lopsided, this painting becomes more than art. It becomes an invitation to rewrite the dynamic, not through confrontation, but through environment. Because when the space starts to reflect equality, the heart follows, and that's when real fortune flows. Not the kind that shows up as just money or status, but the kind that feels like peace, stability, mutual pride. So ask yourself now, is your ambition rooted in isolation or shared vision? Is your strength balanced by softness? Is your success making room for love or consuming it? If any of those questions land deep, the dragon and phoenix are waiting to guide you home. Final, you don't need to change your whole house. You just need to stop inviting misfortune and start inviting success back. That's the quiet truth most people never hear when they hang a painting, thinking it's just for decoration, just for beauty, just for filling up an empty wall. But what if that empty wall's where your next opportunity was supposed to enter, and instead you covered it with chaos? A waterfall crashing downward in your kitchen, a boat drifting out the window, a horse galloping away from your career zone, or a rooster staring straight out the door, carrying your clarity and protection with it. Most people don't fail because they don't work hard. They fail because they don't notice the small, invisible ways they block their own energy. They hang the lotus too close to clutter and wonder why peace never comes. They face the horses out and wonder why they never seem to win. They crave stability, but never plant pine trees near their pressure zones. And they forget that a painting is not just a picture, it's a portal. It tells your space what to amplify, what to protect, what to let in, and what to let go. That's why this isn't about superstition, it's about energetic design. If your home always feels fine, but your life never moves forward, that's not just coincidence. That's alignment gone missing. Every image you bring into your home either roots you or releases you. It either reflects a truth you're stepping into or a pattern you're repeating. And the worst part is, most homes are unconsciously decorated with images that reflect who we used to was, not who we're becoming. So you may be hanging on to things that look beautiful but feel heavy. You may be admiring that old canvas, but it carries the energy of a chapter that's long closed. And or worse, it's facing the wrong direction, speaking the wrong message, and doing exactly what you're trying so hard to avoid, pulling your luck away from you. This is the mistake almost everyone makes, thinking the direction doesn't matter, that intention is enough, or that their life is too chaotic to be impacted by one small change. But what if it's that one small change that unlocks the next big breakthrough? Feng Shui isn't about rules. It's about resonance. And resonance begins when you choose images that reflect not only what you want, but who you are ready to become. So let's recap, not as a list, but as an energy map of your home. You place the rising sun and fruit trees in the east to open your career path. You center the peony to anchor elegance and self-worth. You face the rooster inward to block gossip and speak your truth. You choose a gently flowing stream that enters, not exits, your wealth zone. You pair cranes with pine to hold your strength through storms. You race your horses inward, never away. You let your boat sail home, not out. You quiet the room for the lotus to clear your heart. And you let the dragon and phoenix teach you how to rise together. If even one of these is misaligned, don't blame your efforts. You've likely been pushing against your own energy without realizing it. But if you start correcting even one of these points, you may find the shift comes quicker than expected. Why? Because energy doesn't lie. You either align with abundance or repel it. The good news? Alignment doesn't require effort. It requires awareness. And you have that now. So stop wondering why things feel stuck and start asking what messages your home is sending on your behalf. Because you are not here to beg for luck. You are here to prepare for it. And preparation begins the moment your walls start to speak the language of your future, not your past.